It is main card time. It is episode 50 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. It's our 1-year anniversary, and we are breaking down the main card of a stat card, UFC 263, Adesanya Vettori 2. And man, amazing night of fights. It's been a fun podcast so far. This one means a lot to me. And we'll start. I don't know if you can feel free to sit this one out if you want, but
oh, you already saw me pouring it up.
yeah, what a gangster, what a real one. But yeah, it's 50 episodes. Like I'm like legit. I've done some shit in my life, nothing too great, but like this is right up there with something I'm proud of, man. Like seriously, like.
Hell yeah, me too. I tell everybody about this shit.
Yeah, man, 50 episodes, 1 year straight, in the toughest year of most of our lives. Like
facts.
Yeah, man. Here's to you. Here's to everybody that's liked and subscribed on YouTube.
Cheers, brother.
And this is to everybody that's not liked and subscribed on YouTube. No, but seriously, you really help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Beefy Boys Breakdown. And plus, you get like a better version. You get like the edited version. You get the clips. It's way better, trust me. But thanks to those that do it.
I'll text you at night if that's what you want. If you need to subscribe, I'll text you at night.
Yeah,
whatever
seriously. Whatever you need to get that subscribed, let us know. We got you. And but yeah, shout out to the real ones that do watch live here on Instagram with us. It's a lot of fun. And but yeah, we got this main card, and man, plenty of storylines, plenty of stars, plenty of belts.
Crazy great main card. Like these 5 fights are all so great.
So great. All right, so we got Paul Craig, the 14th ranked light heavyweight, plus 220 underdog, which I was a little surprised at, to be honest.
Very surprised at. Honestly, you texted me about that number, and I was a little like 50-50 on it. But as we got closer to it, I was like, yeah, that number's good to bet Paul Craig on.
I give you my props. Did I not send you a text?
You called it.
Because I like the parlay originally, but I did say, as far as if I had to pick a single bet of an underdog, I was picking Paul Craig. I like the money on Paul Craig. I said that before the fight started. He collaborated. You know, I eat my shit, but I also got to let y'all know.
Got to reap those rewards.
Yeah, it's a two-way street for sure. But he's fighting Jamahal Hill, 15th ranked light heavyweight, undefeated hotshot prospect, minus 285 favorite. And like I said, as great as Jamahal Hill is now, if Jamahal was 12-0 or 14-0, I wouldn't have felt the way I felt about Paul Craig. I know how Paul Craig's pedigree is of grappling, and just how he's a tough kind of alpha male, just badass dude. And like
Scottish guy, you know.
For a young prospect, 8 professional fights to be almost 3-1 favorite in Vegas. I liked Paul Craig as far as the money line goes.
And as of Thursday, I believe the line was like 325 to Hill and plus 250 to Craig. So it was even bigger.
So some sharp money came in on Craig. Like, yeah, you know, us folks that knew what we talked about, you know what I'm saying?
For real, yeah.
But no, seriously, I mean, but needless to say, I mean, it was on the main card for a reason. Just dope matchup from a matchmaking perspective, because Paul Craig, he makes no bones about it. He wants to submit you. He's going to have a jiu-jitsu heavy approach, even to the point of pulling guard, which he almost is the exception to the rule in modern MMA of pulling guard. That's Demian Maia. But seriously, like
we'll obviously have to get to it in the breakdown, but like there's certain little things he does that other guys don't do when they pull guard that are hyper effective in MMA, because he's taking advantage of like the equipment almost.
And the grip, the strength is like Figueiredo-esque, which is saying something in the light heavyweight division full of strong guys. But like his squeeze is different than other guys' squeeze. Like it just is on display last night. No, it's not. Jamahal Hill, probably, we were talking about the limitations of Chase Hooper's genetics and athleticism earlier. Jamahal Hill, the exact opposite. Doesn't look like he cuts a pound. Like, honestly, looks like he could probably fight at 185. Like, there's weight to be cut there, but he still looks athletic. I'm just saying he's not sucked down by any stretch of the imagination. He's not skipping meals. And which, like I said, it can be a great thing, and maybe that's been the secret to his early success. Now, running into these top guys, I mean, what does Jamahal – I don't know. We'll get into it. But as far as the fallout of this, but I think you see where we're going with this. Round one, man, I don't even know if you call it a TKO or a sub or a stoppage.
It officially is a TKO, but
it's officially a TKO.
Shit.
But yeah, no, crazy shit went down. So Paul Craig was jumping on the arm bars from all night. And at the start of round one, he got Jamahal Hill in a very dangerous position, especially considering that they weren't sweaty. They were all sticky. For those that don't know, it's much easier to submit somebody when they're not slippery because there's no gis, there's no rash guards. Like, it's skin on skin. If you're all sweaty, it's very slippery and hard to lock in a submission. Now, at the start of the fight, you're obviously less sweaty. That's why sometimes you'll even see some fighters pour water all over themselves before fights. It's kind of questionable.
Yeah.
But hey,
right.
whatever.
It's, whatever.
It's in bounds. It's in bounds. Yeah. But I'm saying, so Paul Craig, very aggressive with the submission attempts early, which for a guy that's submission heavy is a smart move because, like I said, you're more grippy, easier to submit. And he had Jamahal Hill his arm in severe trouble early in the fight, but Jamahal was able to escape. It was crazy. My wife honestly kind of foreshadowed what happened when he was in that first position, like when he almost had it.
Yeah, when he almost had it the first time.
And Nino was like, I can't watch. I know what's going to happen. And then I was like, oh, no, it's cool, baby. He got out of it. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
I'll let you take it from there.
So, yeah, essentially, and it's kind of part of what I was saying, too, is that Paul Craig, man, like, the thing he does that's different than everyone else whenever he's down there pulling guard, being on bottom, is that he, like, sucks his arm up if your arm is in between his arm and his body, and he essentially traps your glove to the point where you, like, can't pull your glove through.
That's like, because you meant by equipment. I didn't quite catch on to that. Thanks for
because you could pull your hand out of there, but whenever the glove is, like, preventing it, like, there were times last night where Jamahal Hill would have to, like, essentially like limp wrist his whole arm to try and pull his hand out.
Which we're coming. I see what you're saying with the glove, because the reason why, which we'll show on actually this very next fight, the reason why single legs are so ineffective in MMA is because there's no wrestling shoe to grab onto.
Right.
So it's almost like the exact
you just turn and pull your foot out of it. Same exact thing.
But how Craig was using the glove as almost like a wrestling shoe on a single leg.
Right, gives him extra grip, extra leverage. So, yeah, he gets the arm trapped, and he just continually keeps spinning and spinning and spinning to the point where he finally gets to the point of an arm bar, locks it up, gets control of the thumb, and rips Jamahal Hill's arm out of socket. They came on the broadcast later and said it was a dislocation. Bro, I don't give a fuck. That's a year he's not fighting with that arm.
Yeah, it's hard to argue it, man. This was actually like traumatic in my household.
Yeah, bro. Like to watch his arm just like flop like it was like an elephant's trunk.
Started like crying, like it affected her. Like and she's tough. She's seen some shit in her life, and like it was like, dude.
It was tough.
Well, honestly, I was crazy. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt because we see Tony Ferguson, we see guys where all the time, not all the time, but you see it where, like, it looks like it should be probably bad, and, like, what's going to say?
Reminds me of Silva's arm.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But, like, you see shit all the time that should be, like, really bad, but then it ends up being, like, okay. Like, i.e. Tony Ferguson. I know not everybody's Tony Ferguson, but it's like Jamahal Hill's lack of reaction. Like, I was literally in the moment whenever Nina was like freaking out. I was like, "Oh no, it's not that." Because I thought if it was that, it would be more obvious. Like Jamahal Hill stone faced it like an absolute G, and on some Jacare shit, and just like I don't know. I honestly thought my like eyes were deceiving me or something. I was like, "Oh, surely not. Surely that's not what's happening right now." What we're describing is, so Paul Craig completely, like, it looked in real time like he snapped the arm like this. It was like dead arm. Like, I can't really describe it better than that. If you're listening on the audio, I'm flapping my arm around like a dead fish, which is how Paul Craig described it in the post-fight interview. Jamahal Hill's elbow was completely dislocated and flopping around. And so it was this awkward scenario where it should have been a submission, but Paul Craig had nowhere else to torque because the joint was toast.
So he had to switch.
So he started punching, or was it elbowing or punching? He started ground and pounding from guard.
He switched to a triangle choke essentially because he still had the arm in from the arm bar. Just wrapped his legs and then started throwing elbows and punches to his head. And Jamahal Hill couldn't put his arm up to protect because why? Because his elbow's dislocated. Yeah, and the ref honestly did a great disservice. Like when you see a dude's
Fuck that
fuck that
ref,
ref.
seriously. They didn't let him call any more fights for the rest of the night. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to keep calling fights. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but he
Damn.
wasn't seeing the rest of the night. He fucked up, man.
Yeah,
He literally put that fighter's career in jeopardy. Lost the UFC money.
right,
Like,
right. And honestly, I don't know what's worse. Is Kenneth brings it up there is like if you break a bone or if you dislocate something, what's worse? I think the dislocation's worse because I think the joint and ligament damage is going to be way harder to recover from than just a bone snap. They were talking about it last night actually. Chris Weidman, as pure savage, 7 weeks after that break of his leg, he's apparently doing very light touch sparring.
yeah, that's
With a
wild.
ligament, you're talking about 6 months.
Well, I mean, so on a very, very minor end of this kind of spectrum here, I've hyperextended my right elbow playing football in college.
It still gives you trouble to this day, right?
It does. It's never felt exactly the same. Now, is it like 92% instead of 100? Yeah, but is it 100? No.
Imagine your whole arm getting bent backwards out of its socket, though.
And it was literally ruled a minor hyperextension. I think I missed like 2 weeks of football practice. Like, it was minor. It was minor. And I remember I've had meniscus injuries. I've had full-blown AC joint separations on both shoulders. Hardest rehab I've ever had from an injury was that very, very minor elbow hyperextension. Very minor. It was the hardest rehab, and it was maybe my scariest injury, and it was one of my least severe injuries. It just like
wow.
that elbow is a fucking motherfucker, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with like your muscle, like your shoulder. I don't know. It's a motherfucker. So yeah, I mean, all well wishes to Jamahal Hill. I hope. I don't know, bro. You got me rethinking because initially, whenever they came out and said it was a dislocation, not a break, I got like really happy for him. But you got me rethinking that. Like maybe it would have been better off with him.
I mean, the way they said it was like that it was better, and I was like, yeah, I guess as far as like pain level and like overall like ghastliness of the injury, it maybe was better for us. Like, or like it's not a spiral fracture of a bone, you know, and there's chance for infection with the bone breaks and stuff. So I get all that.
Yeah, we gotta keep it pushing though. But yeah, Jamahal Hill, he gets the performance of the night bonus. Nasty, I guess. Like I said, it gets called a TKO. Really, it's whatever you want to call it. I wasn't the biggest fan of Craig's reaction. Like, I get it, you gotta be savage and all that. He was like, yeah, they're either tapping, snapping, or napping. Or he said something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
was like, what?
Pretty G. Not the most respectful. Like, I get it, man. It's combat. I don't necessarily like it. Now, if he would have tapped him or napped him, but snapping to say that after I don't know, man. I wasn't the biggest fan, but hey, it is what it is. I like different kind of savagery. Not, I don't know. Like, I don't even think
that felt like dickhead savagery.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean?
Like there's a difference, right? Like,
that didn't feel like war of the moment. That felt like you're just an asshole.
Yeah, right. I get it. It's a weird mentality to go in there and get paid to hurt people, but I can't relate to that. But yeah, it's different. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing. Next fight, a fight I was really looking forward to: Demian Maia, plus 195 underdog, 9th ranked welterweight, fighting Belal Muhammad, 12th ranked welterweight, minus 245 favorite. I'm not gonna lie. Before the fight, I thought that was a real big number on Belal. But I guess after the fight, it got proven to be.
No, I thought that might have been a little bit. Oh, wow. Ball. Just because, like, stylistic matchups, Ball's a really good wrestler, so Maia was going to struggle to take him down, and if Maia doesn't get a takedown, what's he going to do?
True. I guess I overvalued, which it should always be overvalued, somebody's jiu-jitsu from the bottom. But I figure if anybody. It was going to be Maia. You know what I'm saying?
True, yeah. I mean, he's the example.
Maia's proven to be most effective. It's kind of like one of those things like history kind of lies to you. Most of Maia's most effective jiu-jitsu moments come from the top position.
True. Very true. That's what I mean. So, like, if he can't get the takedown off his back, he's not the greatest submission artist.
And we can kind of, it sucks. I don't want to skim over this one, but time and like it's kind of the same, the story over and over and over again. I
mean, we could go around if you want, but I would just say, that actually with like, and we can dive into like why and how. I don't have any problem with that, but it's just like the the idea of each round. I scored at 30-27. I didn't think Maia won a round. I thought this fight, honestly,
I don't know. I reluctantly gave round 1 10-9 Maia only because
it was so low activity that neither guy did much,
and he hadn't pushed against the fence like what.
I thought about scoring it that way too.
But through no fault of his own, he still did everything right. It was a whack. I literally didn't want to score it to Maia, but like I felt like I had to. But I'm not mad at it.
This fight kind of had snoozer vibes to me, which sucked.
Yeah, snoozer vibes, but also, like, I mean, Belal Muhammad, there was no other way that fight transpired.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like past the victory, like, that's how each guy had to fight.
Yes.
And that's just how it plays out. And I accept that, but it is like, it was some moments I was like, man, I wish these guys would just start opening up, but that's not going to happen.
So one judge scored it the way you saw it. The other judge scored it the way I saw it. Our two judges scored it the way I saw it. But either way, unanimous decision, Belal Muhammad, and somewhat of a snoozer. I mean, to put it this way, by the end of the fight, Belal Muhammad had defended over 20 takedowns. And it wasn't
it was crazy.
It was 20 single legs, which is super important. Like, Maia refused to do anything but single leg the whole time, and it just didn't work. And thank God in rounds 2 and 3, Belal Muhammad was able to let his hands go, or else we would have ran into the same thing that we ran into in round 1 as far as scoring it goes. But thank God the right man won. In rounds 2 and 3, Belal won, because that does separate. Belal is a great wrestler, but he does like to let his hands go. He's a mixed martial artist. Belal Muhammad, he may never win gold, maybe not. Like, I feel like he maybe has a ceiling. But he's a mixed martial artist. Like, he doesn't have a one-faceted approach. Like, he loves to wrestle and he loves cage pressure, but he also loves letting them hands go. And I appreciate him.
He's super well-rounded, super active. I just think that, like, last night was completely a product of, like, that's Demian Maia. There's only certain ways you can fight him. And there's a blueprint out to beat him. I think Dean Thomas came on and talked about it. But, like, yeah, man, I mean, props to Muhammad. He was, 12th last night, and Maia was 9?
Yeah, he was 12th, and it's pretty safe to assume he takes Maia's spot. And it's honestly pretty safe to assume at this point that Maia's spot is pretty much up for grabs, because that was the 6th fight on his contract. And Dana, essentially, without saying it, said it was pretty much not going to re-sign him. So
yeah, and why would he? I'm with Dana on that.
Yeah, outstanding career for Maia. Challenged for the title at 2 different divisions. Nothing to hang his head about. There's a reason why winning gold means something. Not everybody gets to do it. And, but Belal Muhammad, it's like, say what you want about what you think his ceiling is. He keeps winning. He keeps moving up. And then stylistically, like, he's not better than Usman. But I'm just saying, stylistically, his ability to fight no matter where the fight goes.
Yeah, and always be a pressure fighter.
If he can put Usman on the back foot, is that a bad matchup for Usman?
I think Usman's a bad matchup for Muhammad, because it's the same idea, right? If Muhammad's on his back foot, is he as good?
And he's just better at it. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. It's just Belal Muhammad's just one of those guys that, like, he's easy to root for, hard to root against. It's also hard to get super excited about him, but it's also like, he's not a bad, like, I don't think there's anybody that's a bad matchup for him because of his well-rounded.
He's super well-rounded. Yeah,
like, you want to say Covington, like, Colby Covington is known for his pace and pressure. Well, guess what? Belal's great at pace and pressure. And I'm not saying he's a better version. It's almost like he's like a worse version of these top welterweights. But
you know what? He's saying he needs some more big wins, which I don't disagree with. But he was trying to get it when he fought Leon Edwards.
He fought Edwards and Demian Maia back to back. What more do you want from the guy? Like, I mean, he's doing his part.